Good morning and welcome to Company Culture with Yvette C. Owens, where we explore the behaviors of organizations and the talent within that really dictate the outcomes, the atmosphere, the culture within that organization. And if we're not intentional about that, then we get what we get. Potluck. How about that? And so while potluck, sometimes you can find something you like and sometimes you won't. I don't think we want to conduct our businesses like that as a potluck supper. So we want to be very intentional in what we prepare and what we serve. And so in company culture, that's what we do. If you are scrolling by and you find that you see me on your timeline, I am Yvette C. Owens, known as the business ambassador in my business, where I work with people who are not satisfied with where they are and know that there's so much more and want more clarity in how to get there for themselves and for their organization or their team. And so today, again, I wanted to talk about bridge builders. How about that? And planning your next. Bridge builders and planning your next. Good morning if you're coming in. Come on in, share this, let others know that there is a conversation going on, that you do not have to remain unclear about where you're going or unclear about how to get there. You don't have to remain stuck in your current situation. There is a way out and there's a right way to leave. I know that as leaders in organizations or even people, teammates and things like that, as people are leaving, sometimes it's so abrupt. We're like, well, what happened? What in the world? Why all of a sudden are they gone? What is it? What are we supposed to do now if you're left behind to pick up the pieces? There's a right way to leave, there's a right way to prepare to go, and there's a no, and know that you don't have to remain stuck there if you haven't figured out, one, where you want to go, or two, you know that um you know where you want to go, but you don't know how to prepare those who are going to remain where you are for your departure. And so I want to just touch a little bit on all of that this morning. Yes, I do. And good morning to those who are joining. Good morning. Good morning. I hope you are finding yourself well today, and that you are nice and warm and you're ready for the day. You've charged up, ready to go. And so, again, this is Yvette C. Owens of Company Culture with Yvette C. Owens, my podcast. I am the founding partner of Destiny Speak and the creator of the Diplomat Chronicles. And in that Diplomat Chronicles, I have you in mind, you who are those who are feeling stuck. How do I have that hard conversation? How do I make that transition? I'm not happy. And sometimes we don't feel free to be able to make those statements and do something about it, right? It's one thing to make the statement, but are you ready and willing to do something about it? If you're ready and willing to do something about it and just don't know how to do it, you're in the right space. And it's, again, to take care of everything that would be impacted by your next. Yep, you're next. I know if you are in a space and you've had to make sure that, pieces are taken care of, your teammates are taken care of, your organizations are taken care of, but you know that this is not my end. This is not my target state. This is not where I'm supposed to just, oh, yeah, I've arrived, I've made it. And honestly, when we're working towards that space, we realize that even when we get there, we're going to continue to master it. We're going to continue to nurture it. But the point is to get there. So this morning, I'm talking to, in my mind, three people. One, you are in a space in a place where you know this is not all for you. This is not the end state. You want more and you're ready to move. You know where that next place is, but you don't know how to make the transition well. Two, I'm talking to those who are knowing where you're going knowing have planned for it and are prepared for it. However, you need to prepare for succession. You want to feel good when you leave, because we don't want to burn any bridges, right? So you want to be able to make sure those that are going to remain where you are today are prepared for your departure tomorrow. And then there's those who, I know where I'm going. I don't know where I'm going. I just know this is not it. All right. So it's build bridge builders. We're all building those bridges in all of those cases. And I'm here to give you just some tips to think about as you're building those bridges. So if you can think about building those bridges, then that will be helpful as a bridge builder, not only for yourself, but for those who will remain. Um, that would be absolutely fantastic. And that's what we're going to tackle today. Again, welcome for those who are joining. I'm so glad you chose to hang out with me this morning for these few minutes. Again, I'm Yvette Owens. If you haven't ever crossed my timeline, I do a podcast on Thursdays mornings at 7:30. It's a vlog as well. You can find the podcast on um, SoundCloud, as well as Amazon Music, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Sprouts. So, and you can find this vlog on my Facebook pages as well as my YouTube. So let's get into the topic today um, around bridge builders. And I have a section in my latest book, my ebook called No Bosses Allowed, Lead to Serve and Transform, that talks about flying solo. So you lose so much strength and you never reach optimal altitude when you're flying solo. But when you fly with a team and you fly in that flock, then you are able to get momentum. You get momentum from those in front of you, and the wind from their flight, and then you create a path and wind for those coming behind you to be able to accelerate as well, and then you able to easily shift position. And that's in my book called No Bosses Allowed, Lead to Transform and Serve. And so if you would check that out, you can get it on the diplomatchronicle.com. But in that book, it's talking about we cannot effectively do and go where we're supposed to go if we are flying solo. If we're trying to do this thing all alone, we'll never reach where we're supposed to go. And once we know where we're called to be, if you will, called to really our strengths, and we're in our sweet spot, there's depths. And that's where creating a niche comes in, right? Knowing what that niche is and really refining and refining and refining. It's one thing to say, I'm a teacher. It's the other thing to say, I'm a teacher of high school students who are college bound, or I'm a teacher and I specialize in reading. My specialization is in reading comprehension, not just reading, but reading comprehension. So the more you can narrow what you're doing, the more you start to build that excitement, and then you're able to do it for the thrill of where you're going, which is what my post was around, right? Do it for the thrill of really basking in your sweet spot and knowing how to get there. And so when you're going and you are preparing to go, you want to make sure you're finding and looking for those places where you can stay there for some time, or it's a bridge to continue to get you there, get you to the right spot. But you must first define, what's that right spot? Where is it that I really want to go? And sometimes we don't know. So you do have to take that next step that will continue to inform you around, this is closer to feeling like what I can do every day. This is closer to my passion. I can balance my obligations with where I'm going and what I want to do in this space. in this space, right? More importantly, and equally importantly, I should say, maybe not more importantly, but equally important, is who is going to take your place. And sometimes we don't look intentionally for preparing in my departure, who could step into my shoes? Who could really be ready to take over the helm? And sometimes we don't do that because we're intimidated. And if they do, if I prepare them too well, then maybe I get moved along, or I have to move along much faster than where I intended, right? Or sometimes we just are haphazardly at it and we're looking to only those that we're most familiar with. And obviously, you're going to select someone you know because it's someone you've been working with. But sometimes we yield to family members because I know my kids, I know my husband, I know my cousin, I know my auntie or whatever. Or if we're in a more corporate setting, we look to those people that we've spent the most time with. But I want to encourage you to look to the skill sets and the talent that will take that organization and that team, your organization, that team, your vision, the vision you were fulfilling, to the next place. Because you have a vision and you have results that you want to achieve, but do you have the right talent in the space to make sure you get there? And when you look at that talent, then you can start to say, when I make my next move, this person is going to be the most ideal person for the position that I am holding today because they have these behaviors, they have this skill set, they have this aptitude, they have these competencies, they have the heart of the organization and the heart of the team, the heart of the mission, and you want to look for those things and not just who have I gone to lunch with, who has reached out to me most, and I've worked through issues with them, and we've worked together on certain things. You really want to look at the results and the vision, and see which talent will best fit those steps, those goals those objectives that you have. And so I would encourage you to take an honest look at who is on your team, who's around you, and purposely do it. The worst thing you could do is leave and not have a plan for what's in the space behind you. And I say that because people remember first impressions and they remember lasting impressions. And we don't want to burn bridges, we want to build bridges. And you want to build legacy. You want to have good honor, and reputation should speak highly of you, and not the fact that, oh, they got us out here, we built this technology, and all of a sudden they're gone. Or they got us out here and we're having to serve this whole community and this whole population, and we don't even have a plan for how to bridge the gap for their departure. Let's not leave people hanging. Let's not leave businesses hanging. Let's not leave our clients or our customers hanging. So when you're, excuse me, when you're in the place where you're actually moving, how do you define where you're going to? Again, you want to make sure it's a place that is intentionally going to give you the skill set, give you the experience, increase your knowledge that will deepen your definition of not only what you do, but who you are. Because everything that we're doing starts to define and builds upon who we are and what we're doing. Those who come alongside me, those who follow me, know that I work with people, again, who are feeling stuck, who know there's so much more and want more. And I help them in that transition. How do I make those first 90 days powerful in my new space? How do make sure I'm even moving to the next place? What is my vision and how do I anchor on where I should start, or where how do I anchor on where I should get my next, right? That's what I do. And in that, if they have teams along with them, if they have others coming along with them, or if they are being introduced to a new set of uh, teams and leaders, I am able to help them get clarity on where they're going and make that transition into that space intentional and meaningful for their ultimate goal, their end state. So that we're not just jumping from one place to the other, but when you get there, what is it that I expect to get out of this engagement? How do I expect to rise above and become even greater, receive even greater results? You go in there intentionally knowing I'm looking to perfect these skills, this talent. I'm coming in focusing on these behaviors that I have so that I can strengthen them and further refine my niche. Because the world of teaching, the world of architect, the world of ministry, the world of community relief and community momentum is huge. It's a huge universe. But how do you distinguish yourself from the rest in that space? And working with me, that's what you would get. We would define exactly what you bring to the table so that you can make sure that you are getting in the right space for you in your next, as you're helping those who are remaining prepare for you moving to your next. So don't remain stuck. You don't have to remain dissatisfied in your space. Let's get together, make a plan. Make a real solid plan that you can execute immediately to achieve exactly what you want to achieve in your next position. That is a bridge for you to get to your defined niche, as you also prepare those who will remain where you are today to move forward. Some are fearful. What happens if I get there and I don't know? Well, what overcomes fear is planning. Really planning, thinking it out, making sure you're considering all the steps, you have all the resources, you have the safety guards around you. You've been able to envision and not let everything that's in your mind, because you have so much more in you. And so sometimes all the things that we see cloud us and stop us from moving forward, because I don't know how to do all of this. Well, guess what? You don't. Let's build a roadmap together so that you can know, where do I start now to get to my next? And then how is it going to build to the next thing, so that when you get to that ideal space, and it is possible to get to an ideal space, then you'll see how all the pieces come together. All the pieces have come together. So I hope this is helping you. I know that it will. And I know what will help you even more is connecting with me so you can build your bridge to your next, which will further define your niche. Let's not just jump from one job to the next, from one career to the next, from one position to the next without a plan. No more. Let's go with a transition plan. Let's know how you're going to go into those first 90 days and really execute strong, really go on that discovery of information and gathering information so that your 90 days behind that is going to be impeccable, and not feeling stuck because what's going to happen to the people that remain in the space that I'm in. We can come up with that transition plan. I help you build that transition plan so you are not stuck and you have the clarity on how to move forward. I hope this helps. For those of you who popped in, welcome and thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me this morning. And share this, because there's many people who are looking to transition, especially in this great resignation that's happening. Sometimes you don't have to even do that. You could stay right where you are. And if you're a leader in those spaces, you can help people remain where they are if you can optimize their talent. Optimize their talent. When you know exactly their behavior assessment, you know how they behave, you know what really allows them to have the thrill every day when they're helping, when they're building onto that vision and that mission. When you know that, then you can have a plan to place them in places that will allow them to be inspired as opposed to be disenfranchised and disengaged. I reach out to me on the diplomatchronicles.com or destinyspeak.com, on my Facebook pages, Company Culture with Yvette C. Owens, The Diplomat Chronicles, Destiny Speak, or Yvette C. Owens. I welcome new friends every day. And you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, share this broadcast, share it. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm trying to build up YouTube channel subscribers, so subscribe there as well. Have a great day. And until next Thursday, remember, it takes each of us to build a culture where everyone, absolutely everyone, will thrive. Have a great day. Bye bye.